put new batteries in my fairy lights because I realized in the last couple videos you couldn't see them. I also put a new battery in my camera because the last one just died. Now it's just time for new batteries in my soul. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I felt like doing just a very cozy, chill video tonight. I just got back from Thanksgiving dinner. Yes, it's Canadian Thanksgiving. We celebrate it at a different time than Americans. I don't know why, don't ask me, and don't yell at me in the comments about how it's not Thanksgiving yet. It's Thanksgiving here! Anyways, today was the first properly cozy, cold fall day, so it felt like an appropriate time to film the Finally Fall book tag challenge thing. As usual for all of these questions, I could have picked like 25 books per question to talk about. So in order to not have that happen and not make this video 5 hours long, I, for the most part, went with the very first book that came to my mind when I read the questions, and for that reason, some of these picks are a little strange. Also, do you like my pumpkins? I got them today. Question number 1. Well, I guess they're not questions. It's just like, show me a book. A book with a vivid setting. I tried really hard at the start to think of books with fantasy settings. I felt like fantasy was the way to go for a vivid setting, but for some reason the first book that came to my mind and that would not leave was Madam by Phoebe Wynne. And it doesn't matter how much I don't really like this book, the setting is fantastic. I mean, here it is right on the cover. It is set in Kelvinbray Hall in Scotland. That is a big old school set on the edge of a rocky Scottish cliff facing the sea. The environment and the setting plays a huge part in making this book eerie and spooky and super compelling. And apparently I just can't get enough of that type of setting because the other books that came to mind were more rocky Scottish ocean books. So I've also got The Westland by Rebecca Netley. And I told you in every video I've talked about this, I'm never not gonna say The Westland. That's my Scottish accent. That being said, I did still want to include a fantasy pick, and so therefore I have chosen Tress of the Emerald Sea. Brandon Sanderson, no matter what you think of the books, he does an amazing job with imagery and setting and utilizing the environment to enhance his stories. So that is especially true for Tress. I really enjoyed it. This was not my favorite book ever written, especially not by Brandon Sanderson, but I really enjoyed the setting. The different colored seas of spores were awesome. Even though it's not water, it is the sea, and anything I think that takes place near an ocean for me is going to be a yes, thank you so much for writing an amazing setting. Next, we have a book that has to do with death or grief. For this, I've chosen The Spite House by Johnny Compton. I'm not gonna get too much into how this book deals with death and grief because you just have to read it, but I think this one is a really good example of these sorts of things that grief can make us do and the ways that it messes with your mind. This is a horror book, and I love horror books that hinge on a representation of death, grief, loss, memory, things like that. So this one is a standout for me. Another one that I didn't grab, but it's The September House by Carissa Orlando. That is another horror book that deals with the same sorts of themes. Go ahead and read this. She's real short and it has a really unique take on loss and grief and whatnot. A non-fiction book you've picked up. Well, I don't read very much non-fiction. That being said, I do own many. Recently I've picked up The Wager by David Gran and Thunder Below by Admiral Eugene B. Flecky. I love the ocean. Okay, is this just ocean wrecks? I picked up Thunder Below because something that I'm working on has a lot to do with submarines, and I don't know a lot about submarines, so this is research, but I do really enjoy it. And then again, I just love ships and the ocean, things like that. So The Wager, which is the name of a ship, it just makes sense. I like boats. A fictional family or friend group that you want to be a part of. Okay, this one, I don't know what's going on in my head, but the first book I thought of was My Hero Academia. Now, maybe it's just the fact that I would love to have a quirk and to attend UA, but I do think that in the later volumes, it's a fun friend group to be a part of, and I'd like to do that. I don't know. This was so random, but I said that I was going to do the first books I thought of when reading the question, and MHA. But to go along with that, I'm also going to mention Howl's Moving Castle. I actually picked this for a later question, and then when I thought about it more, I was like, you know what? I'd like to be part of this little found family. Do I want to just be Sophie so I can date Howell? Yes, but I could be a third wheel too. Have I been showing you guys my tattoo? Oh my goodness. I don't think I have. Okay, it's stretched out. Oh, wait. I can't show it on camera very well, but I've got Calcifer tatted on me on my arm right there. And Gigi and some Soot Sprites and Totoro. We'll talk about that more in a different video maybe. A stack of fall colored spines. Now, I don't feel like tearing my shelves apart and putting this together right now, so instead I'm just going to paste in a recent Instagram post I did with specifically autumnal spines. Laziness. This is a cozy video, not a me doing hard work and getting sweaty video. A story where someone is telling you a story. Notoriously one of my least favorite book structures. Now when I thought about this one, I realized that all the books I was thinking of, they're not telling the story to the reader, they're telling the story to somebody else in the story, but I think that's what the question's going for. So the obvious answer was Name of the Wind, but I don't like Name of the Wind. So instead I'm going to talk about my current read, which is Empire of the Vampire, which I'm liking more than Name of the Wind. Actually, I am really enjoying this. It's going to be more than 4 stars for sure. I don't know if it's going to be a 5-star read, but I like it. And then my favorite example, the only one that didn't annoy me for being a story within a story, The Pariah by Anthony Ryan. Underrated series right here, The Covenant of Steel. Check it out. I should do an underrated fantasy series. Wait, I already did an underrated fantasy series video. Well, I should do another one. And I'll talk about The Covenant of Steel by Anthony Ryan. How long do you think I could stay like this? Ooh. Next question. I didn't memorize them, okay? They're on my phone. A creepy story. I've done about 1,000 videos on creepy book recommendations. Most recently, my one last week was creepy children's books. So instead of talking about any books that I've already talked about, let's do one that's brand new to me. I picked up House of Leaves the other day. Came into my local thrift store, Old Goat Books, bless them. They put it on hold for me and I went to get it. I'm really excited for this. I don't want to give too much away. I know some stuff, but like this book creeps me out in itself. Like it just gets, it's just weird. Just weird, it's weird. This book is haunted apparently. And I'm looking forward to being unsettled. Possibly getting cursed or haunted. Finally, I've been waiting. Where are all my demons? Something short and heartwarming. Heartwarming is the one that I was originally going to show Howl's Moving Castle for. I can't talk right now, apparently. My brain is full of turkey. So yeah, Howl's Moving Castle. Short, heartwarming. An old favorite that you'd like to revisit. Well, speaking of last week's video, I pulled a book directly from it. 1 second, please. At the end of last week's video, I mentioned a book that I just found in my house while trying to locate other books for the video that I don't remember a lot about, but I remember loving it as a child, and because of that, am I just blurry? And because of that, I think I should give it another go. Doesn't mean it's gonna be good, but it's Carbonell by Barbara Slay. And this is the 50-year edition that I've had since I was like 8 years old. So this is an old book. Last question before my camera battery dies again. What is a reading accessory you have to have when you read? Nothing specific, except that I cannot read in silence. I hate it. I need there to be constant cacophony around me. So I listen to music even when it has lyrics while I read, and I know that's crazy. I also listen to music while listening to audiobooks. Don't you ever dare think audiobooks are an exception to this. So music is my answer. Those are all the questions. I'm talking fast because my camera battery is literally about to die again. Just get to the outro. Thank you so much for watching. I forget my outro because I'm panicking. Before I go, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell icon so you know when I upload new videos. I upload twice a week, plus What to Read Wednesdays. I love you guys. Goodbye. Go away.